In the dim light of the break room, where the hum of fluorescent lights mingled with the faint sounds of distant machinery, Sarah settled into her routine. As a nurse working the night shift at a bustling hospital, she had grown accustomed to the peculiar rhythm of life that unfolded while most of the world slept. The clock struck 11, and while the moon cast its silvery glow outside, Sarah prepared for another long night of caring for patients, her body still adjusting to the unnatural hours dictated by her profession. For Sarah and countless others like her, the night shift was not merely a job, it was a way of life. Yet, beneath the surface of this seemingly ordinary existence lay a complex web of challenges that threatened both their health and well-being. The first and most immediate concern was sleep, or rather, the lack of it. As she navigated through her shift, Sarah often found herself battling an overwhelming wave of fatigue. Her circadian rhythm, the body's internal clock that regulates sleep-wake cycles, had been thrown into disarray. The body craved the restorative power of sleep, but the demands of her job meant that she often had to fight against her own biological impulses. Research has shown that night shift work can lead to a plethora of sleep disorders. Many night workers, like Sarah, experience difficulty falling asleep after their shifts, often lying awake in bed as the sun rises. The bright light of day signals the body to be alert, making it nearly impossible to drift into a peaceful slumber. This chronic sleep deprivation can lead to a cascade of health issues, including weakened immune function, increased stress levels, and a higher risk of chronic conditions such as obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Sarah had heard the statistics, but they often felt like distant threats, overshadowed by the immediate demands of her patients. As the night wore on, Sarah's mind wandered to her colleagues. They shared stories of their struggles, each recounting the toll that the night shift took on their bodies. Some had developed insomnia, while others resorted to caffeine-fueled coping mechanisms that only exacerbated their exhaustion. Conversations often turned to the impact on mental health, with many admitting to feelings of depression or anxiety. The isolation that came with working when others were off enjoying life weighed heavily on them, creating a sense of disconnection that was hard to shake. Yet, amidst the challenges, Sarah also found camaraderie. They exchanged tips on how to navigate the difficulties of their schedules, sharing insights into what had worked for them. One colleague swore by blackout curtains, which transformed her bedroom into a sanctuary of darkness, blocking out the intrusive light of day. Another advocated for a strict sleep schedule, emphasizing the importance of consistency in sleep patterns. Even on days off, Sarah began to implement these strategies, determined to reclaim some semblance of normalcy in her life. Nutrition was another topic that frequently arose in their discussions. The convenience of vending machine snacks and fast food options often led to poor dietary choices. Sarah realized that she had fallen into the trap of quick fixes, relying on sugary drinks and processed snacks to fuel her through the night. With encouragement from her peers, she decided to take control of her diet. She began preparing healthy meals in advance, opting for snacks rich in protein and fiber that would sustain her energy levels without the crash that came from sugary alternatives. Whole grains, fruits, and vegetables became staples in her diet, and she noticed a marked improvement in her energy and focus during her shifts. Physical activity also emerged as a crucial component of maintaining health as a night shift worker. Sarah had always enjoyed running, but the demands of her job had made it difficult to find time for exercise. Inspired by her colleagues, she began to carve out time for short workouts before her shifts. Whether it was a quick jog or a series of stretches, moving her body helped alleviate some of the physical stress that accumulated during long hours on her feet. Exercise not only improved her physical health, but also provided a much-needed mental break, allowing her to process the emotional toll of her work. Despite her best efforts, Sarah could not ignore the overarching concern of long-term health risks associated with night shift work. Studies indicated that night shift workers faced a higher risk of developing serious health issues, including certain types of cancer. The link between disrupted circadian rhythms and these health risks was alarming, and Sarah often found herself pondering the implications of her career choices. She wondered whether the sacrifices she made for her profession were worth the potential cost to her health. In conversations with her supervisor, Sarah learned about the hospital's initiatives to support night shift workers. They were exploring options for flexible scheduling, allowing staff to rotate shifts more frequently to minimize the impact of prolonged night work. Additionally, the hospital offered resources for mental health support, recognizing the unique stressors faced by those who worked through the night. Sarah felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps change was on the horizon. As the night shifted into the early hours of the morning, Sarah reflected on her journey. She had learned to navigate the challenges of her job with resilience and determination. Through the support of her colleagues, she had discovered practical strategies to mitigate the harmful effects of night shift work. She understood that while the path ahead might be fraught with challenges, she was not alone in her struggles. Together, they formed a community, united by their shared experiences and commitment to prioritizing their health amidst the demands of their profession. As dawn approached, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Sarah felt a sense of accomplishment. She had taken important steps toward safeguarding her health, and while the journey was ongoing, she was determined to face it head-on. In a world that often overlooked the well-being of night shift workers, she had found her voice, and she was ready to advocate for change, not just for herself, but for all those who shared the same burdens.